build its own facility for destroying nuclear weapons, especially since in the future Ukraine will have to resolve the questions of reprocessing wastes produced by nuclear power plants. Ukraine is also planning to create an international atomic center which could use the intellectual and scientific potential which is currently being used in the military-industrial complex. The strike in Kuzbas will not take place. Today, the delegation of the Russian government arrived in Kemerovo for negotiations. It's led by the deputy chairman of the government of the Russian Federation, Shokhin. Kazakhstan plans to sell uranium mined there to other countries with the approval of the IAEA. 1,000 ruble notes are entering circulation today. In the western part of Georgia, tension arose again today. In Zugdidi, the city was blockaded by supporters of Zviad Gamsakhurdia. According to the Ministry of State Security, there are over 1,500 soldiers there. In Grozny today, 70 deputies gathered from the former Georgian parliament, which was dispersed last year. Zviad Gamsakhurdia and Chechen President Jakhar Dudayev spoke at the opening session. The Coordinating Council of the Army Officer Corps plans to call another session of the Officers' Assembly if military issues are not resolved in Kiev on March 20th, according to the Interfax news agency. In the conference hall of the Moscow television company's resort home, discussions are being held on the creation of an intergovernment television broadcasting company. At the invitation of the directors of the Ostankino TV company, their colleagues from the other countries of the former USSR who are in charge of daily broadcasting there have gathered here. Only 4 chairs were empty, those of Armenia, Azerbaijan, Lithuania, and Turkmenia. But these 4 had earlier expressed their interest in the discussions. They were simply unable to attend. The participants expressed various points of view on creating a new broadcasting company, but the main issue was expressed by our interviewees. I believe that creating such a company is absolutely necessary for our republic. It is necessary for several reasons. First of all, we are in an information famine today. Newspapers are closing. There's a drought of information, especially in faraway regions. And the second issue is, I came from a republic, from a region where 47% of the population speaks Russian or another language. It is impossible not to consider this today. Every TV viewer is accustomed to getting information, and we have to provide it, not only information about his own republic. My position is that many people in our republics want to create an intergovernment television channel. It's a good initiative by the Ostankino television company, and things are not all smooth in Ukraine about our future of television broadcasting. There are many unresolved issues between our sovereign states, and I don't believe they will allow our government leaders to accept this initiative and embrace it. Will the Commonwealth have its own culture? Will we have culture at all? The republics are dividing not only borders, but also dividing the cultural achievements of the former Soviet Union. At the Minsk meeting of the heads of the Commonwealth states, an agreement was signed on transferring objects of cultural value back to their republic of origin. Article 3 of this agreement provides for the creation of a specific list of national possessions. This decision was probably taken reluctantly because this division will be so painful. Will we give back to Ukraine the drawings of Shevchenko? What about those of Levitsky, Repin, Levitan, Ivazovsky? These people belong to several people simultaneously. Here's the icon of the Vladimir Madonna from the Tretyakov Gallery. We'll have to give this back to Ukraine, along with Monomach's crown, and the icons from the Kiev catacombs will have to be returned from Russia. Of course, this is very difficult. We have a common history in Kiev Rus. The decision is absurd, and fortunately, with other inter-ethnic conflicts, we have not yet reached this point. Kiev has so far asked only for the return of the Lisevsky gold. On the initiative of our commission, we have raised this issue at the Supreme Soviet on February 19th of this year. The session suspended the agreement. The session of the Supreme Soviet ordered the creation of a working group containing the highest class lawyers, specialists in international law and culture, sociologists, to decide the issue in the most civilized and, I would say, cultured way possible. Because world history has no precedent for, say, returning Rubens' works to Holland or the works of Rembrandt simply because they were born there. We'll see how this all turns out, but this, of course, may turn out to be the easiest way to divide. In science news today, our doctors have reached world levels in heart transplants. They now produce results no worse than those of American and French doctors. Sasha Shakova had her second birthday today. Her doctors and she both believe this. 5 years ago, she received the first heart transplant in our country. Since then, the Transplant Institute has performed 54 such operations, and those who came to the office of Director Valery Shumakov today believe they are the patients. After many years of failure, our doctors have reached the world level with a 95% success rate. We all know that medical care is becoming more expensive every year, and this applies most of all to transplantation. We also know that scientific research is receiving less and less money. This clinic has no money for dialysis machines because they are produced in Belgorod, which is now in another country. We are afraid because we are on the verge of catastrophe in our clinic here. But this is an issue of the lives of people. Do you think that paid, insured medical care is a possibility? Insured medical care is our dream. Today, the chairman of the Supreme Soviet of Russia, Khasbulatov, held a press conference devoted to the issue of the Congress of People's Deputies of Russia. Among the issues which will be discussed at the Congress, Ruslan Khasbulatov said, would be the draft of the new constitution and the current economic situation in Russia. If the constitution is not adopted on first reading, Khasbulatov said, this could create a danger of activizing the authoritarian forces which hope to attack democracy. As a reserve option, serious amendments could be introduced into the existing constitution. Addressing the position toward the government, Ruslan Khasbulatov said, I would propose that the president undertake the reorganization of the Supreme Soviet and give to the Supreme Soviet a prime minister. This, I think, would be a realistic approach which would reduce tensions. Answering questions on the declaration of Moscow Mayor Popov, who made several accusations toward the Supreme Soviet, Khasbulatov said it was an attack by pseudo-democratic forces on the representative organs of powers. Khasbulatov said that as soon as Khasbulatov's power is decreased, he can be removed. But Khasbulatov denied reports in Komsomolskaya Pravda newspaper that he is preparing an order for the Supreme Soviet to prepare documents to remove Popov from the Moscow mayor's office. At the same time, Moscow Mayor Popov has given his approval to the holding of an opposition meeting in Moscow on March 17th. We asked for comment from Moscow Procurator Ponomarov. I would say that law and common sense triumphed here. Does the Moscow Prosecutor's Office have any information that anti-social forces will participate in this meeting? No, we have no such reports, but naturally we are preparing for any situation which can arise in a crowd of many people. The organizers believe that 100,000 people will attend this meeting, and we, together with the main internal forces, the police, should be prepared for any possible excesses. So you want to say that your prediction, the prediction of the Moscow Procurator for March 17th is positive? I think that the events of February 23rd will not be repeated. Today in St. Petersburg, the activists of the movement Democratic Reform gathered to discuss the new Russian constitution and the fate of democracy. The topic was chosen not as a coincidence. 75 years ago, on March 12th or February 27th in the old style, 1917, the February Revolution was won. 2 days later, Nikolai II abdicated the throne and a provisional government was formed under Prince Lvov. Today, agreement was reached that the 14th Army divisions on the left bank of the Dniester River in Moldova will maintain neutrality. This was the result of discussions between the Moldovan officials and Deputy Commander of the main command of the CIS Armed Forces, Boris Genkov. The Moldovan Interior Ministry denies reports that they were planning to storm the city of Dubasare. The Information Department of the Regional Council of Rostov-on-Don reports that no decision has been made there to send citizens of Rostov region to Moldova. However, the Rostov officials recognize that a unit of Cossacks is located in Moldova.
Новости